In this installment, we're going to be going over the Week 7 early slate. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to bring you the winning ingredients for our Week 7 early slate. But before we deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetShetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91, and don't forget about that Patreon. Right now at the homepage of the YouTube channel, currently at 10.3 thousand subscribers. This is the road to 20K, and we're well on our way because you guys are showing up each and every single day. If you're already subscribed, continue to like and comment. That helps the YouTube algorithm so we can grow to a much broader audience. All right, now for our Thursday video, we smashed it out the park. Top play was over 44. I told you that was my top play. I love that play, and it smashed easily. This game on Thursday was 33-31. Huge performance from the two icy hot quarterbacks here in Joe Flacco and Aaron Rodgers. Put up a ton of points, and we cashed easily on that video and on Patreon, obviously, as you see, over 43. That was a top play. I also gave out Noah Fant touchdown. That was at plus 440. I also gave out Darnell Washington touchdown. That cashed at plus 340. And on that day in MLB, we swept the MLB there in the ALCS, NLCS, Dodgers Blue Jays parlay that cashed at plus 299. So a fantastic Thursday on Patreon. You guys are missing out right now. You got to click on that link. Don't miss out. You're going to get full access to daily bets, future bets, and access to that group chat that goes up 24/7. Don't forget about the futures. I will be dropping the NFL Super Bowl future this week, so stay tuned to that. If you want to sign up right now, you will have access coming up. Probably we'll drop it. I'll probably drop it Monday. Give this weekend to coast it all over. Monday I will be dropping the Super Bowl selection for the futures if you sign up for that section. First game up here in Wembley Stadium, we have another London matchup here. Jacksonville Jaguars 4-2 going up against the LA Rams 4-2. Looking at the current odds for this one, we have Rams as road favorites technically, minus 155 with the comeback of the Jaguars at a plus 130. Point spread at 3. Total points at 44.5. Looking at the public bet percentage here, we have 77% of the bets, 51% of the money coming on the Rams. Sharps are slightly leaning towards the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. For the point spread, 61% of the bets, 62% of the money coming in on Jaguars to cover the 3. So this is more of a public sharps. It's more sharps on this side. Total points here, 88% of the bets, 93% of the money on the under 44.5 in the total. Very interesting to see that one there. All right, it's very heavily on the side of the under. This game is pretty in the middle with my decision of over and under, but we'll see about that. Now for the injury report here, we're waiting on news about Rob Havenstein to see if he's going to be able to give it a go. They already ruled out Puka Nacua, and in his stay, and with him being out, there's going to be a thrust of Jordan Whittington here in that position, in that slot role, who's had some solid games last season, similar to what he did last year when Puka was out. He had 2 solid games and taking opportunities there. He had 18 targets in 2 games. One game he had 6 for 62, and then the second game he had 7 for 89. So very productive there, reliable source as well. And then he kind of, once Puka came back, and he really didn't do much else for the rest of the season, he gets another opportunity with Puka being out now to be thrusted in that role. And he was coming on so far this season just a little bit here, getting more and more work the last couple weeks, seeing 3 targets against Eagles, only 1 against Indiana, and then 3 against San Francisco, and then 4 against Baltimore. So slowly ramping up, and now he has an opportunity to take over for Puka being out. It's going to be him and Tutu Atwell and obviously Devonta Adams. All right, so Tutu Atwell will be fine for this game. He is going to play. That's a positive. And for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Quentin Morris, backup tight end, he's out. Devin Lloyd, their stud linebacker who's been getting all the fumbles and interceptions, he's going to be out. That's a big loss. and everyone else is fine for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So with this Rams offense, I still have no issues with them, even without Puka Nacua. They still have a ton of weapons here for Matt Stafford to definitely dissect this defense here on the Jaguars, who are 29th in passing yards allowed per game. And then 8th against the run, because technically you just throw on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I've tried to warn people about how fake this team is here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were the fakest 4-1 team, and then the Seattle Seahawks proved me correct, and they let JSN run wild in that game with the efficiency from Sam Darnold as well. They got by KC, luckily, and San Francisco, and they should have lost that Houston game as well. So they've been, like I said, they got by with the skin of their teeth here in that 3-game stretch against the Texans, San Francisco, and Kansas City. Seahawks showed up, and now the Rams here playing okay against Baltimore, but definitely in this spot here, I think they have all the advantages here on the offensive side of the ball and defensively here. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have some issues here with this pass rush of the LA Rams. As you can see, 4th in the league in sacks. They have 19 sacks so far this year. This pass rush will create havoc for the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence, and that's where I'm going to be leaning here. Give me the LA Rams on the money line. Give me the LA Rams to cover the 3, and for the total, I'll probably lean towards the under 44.5, but we'll say main play money line Rams, secondary play -3 on that point. In MetLife Stadium here, we have the New York Jets 0-6 going up against the Carolina Panthers 3-3. Looking at the current odds for this one here, we have Panthers here road favorites -120 with the comeback of the Jets at a +100, point spread at a 1.5, total at 41.5 in the total. Looking at the public bet percentage here, we have 71% of the bets, 75% of the money all over Carolina. For the point spread, 63% of the bets, 68% of the money towards Carolina to cover. And for the total points, we have 53% of the bets coming in on the under, and then 71% of the money coming in on the under, 41.5. So this one is going to be very, very interesting here. Not a layup with a lot of people think this is going to be. Now, injury report, we have doubtful on Cam Jones. Quantez Stiggers is doubtful. Garrett Wilson is doubtful. All right, now, this New York Jets team here, without Garrett Wilson, and this is why it's so heavily on the side of Carolina. Obviously, the negative talk around Justin Fields as well. Even though I get it, he had the yips against Denver, but in the other games, he looked decent and competent. There was a lot of issues with the offensive line not allowing him time to get this offense going. All right. Also, some decision making here where they should have been able to run the ball a little bit more in previous games. This team should have won 2 games already. They should have had an opportunity to win against the Buccaneers after coming back and taking the lead in the 4th quarter, and they should have won against the Steelers as well. All right, Carolina Panthers here. We have Jalen Coker, positive news. He's trending towards playing. Austin Corbett trending towards playing. We have Patrick Jones, linebacker. He's out. And then we're waiting on news about Damian Lewis, their guard. He had 2 back-to-back DNPs. He might not play in this one. Highly questionable in this game. All right. Now, looking at these 2 teams. All right. These are 2 bad teams. Okay. 2 bad teams. As you can see, rushing yards allowed 23rd is the Jets. And it says the Carolina Panthers is 9th. Now, the Carolina Panthers stats you have to take with a grain of salt because what they do on the road is totally different than what they do at home. All right, this Carolina Panthers team has been absolutely fantastic at home, beating Dallas, beating Miami, beating and blowing out the Atlanta Falcons. This team on the road is absolutely horrible, and they have not figured out their issues. They have not figured out their issues. The first game was the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road. The Panthers defense here let and allow Travis Etienne to dominate them. Breece Hall is super capable of doing this to this team here, and this is the bread and butter of the New York Jets. They're going to be running the football a lot, all right? Travis Etienne, 143 yards, had a fantastic day, and they had 200 yards rushing in total. All right, that's not good. The second game, this one was more of the yips from Bryce Young, where they created turnovers with that Cardinals defense. And Bryce Young turned over the ball, had an interception. There were some fumbles as well, and they allowed the Arizona Cardinals to get up to an early lead, and then pretty much they played, prevent defense and allow Carolina to come back. All right. Now, the third piece of evidence here: on the road, Carolina Panthers got absolutely tattooed against the New England Patriots. They allowed 3 touchdowns here rushing wise, 1 to Trevion, 1 to Nathaniel Gibson, and 1 to Drake May as well. Drake May had 2 passing touchdowns as well. And this team faltered. Bryce Young struggled. They even brought in Andy Dalton. It was an ugly game yet again. So 3 points here where we've seen struggles from this Carolina Panthers team. Clearly major issues here on the road. If this was in Carolina, I would have full confidence and back this team 100%. Now on the road, this leaves an opening for the Jets. And the Jets have been covering numbers. They covered against Denver, and we finally saw a positive result from this Jets defense here, especially for that trade here with the Titans. The Jets went out and got Jarvis Brownlee Jr. He was the top-rated defensive player last week, and according to PFF at cornerback position, over 90 rating. He's a big factor in the run stuffing as well, and that's what the Denver Broncos had a lot of trouble with last week in London, and the Jets had an opportunity to win that game yet again. An opportunity to win that game. It came down to the very end. They couldn't move the ball into field goal position for the game-winning field goal, and another opportunity. But I like defensively what I saw from this Jets team. I think they are alive in this spot here as home underdogs. I think the run game is going to get going, and I really, really like Breece Hall in this spot here. Give me the New York Jets. We'll be safe. Let's take the +1.5. Secondary play, I'm going to lean towards the over very slightly. I'm going to lean towards the over. I think that these offenses can get going. Both sides here, both offenses have struggled. All right, both offenses are definitely leaky. All right, and I'm going to be going towards the over. This is a sneaky over spot here with this very low total at 41.5. Main play, Jets +1.5. In Soldier Field here, we have the Chicago Bears 3-2. Going up against the New Orleans Saints 1-5. Looking at the odds for this one, Chicago Bears are small favorites, -235 on the money line with the comeback of the Saints at a +195. Point spread at a 4.5. Total points at 45.5. Looking at the public bet percentage here, we're gonna go over to that money line, 90.22 bet percentage here, 84% of the money coming in on Chicago for the point spread, 58% of the bet, 62% of the money on New Orleans Saints with the +4.5, and for the total points, 55% of the bets and money towards the under 45.5 in the total. All right, very interesting matchup here. Before we break it down, Saints injury report, we have Alvin Kamara, he's going to be 5. We got a Q tag on Isaac Yiadom, who's their quarterback, and John Ridgeway, their D tackle. Both of them should be able to play. Chicago Bears dealing with some outs here. Cairo Santos is going to be out, so they got to deal with a backup kicker. Noah Sewell, linebacker, he's out. We have questionable tags on DeAndre Swift and DJ Moore, but they should be able to play in this game here. We had the Chicago Bears coming off an emotional win here against the Commanders. They were motivated in that spot to get revenge from the Commanders last year with that Hail Mary. And the Chicago Bears are now on a 3-game winning streak, taking advantage of lesser talent here and in the motivated spot on Monday. Now, this is a short week for Chicago. Banged up in that game against Commanders with some of their guys, and now they're going up against a feisty New Orleans Saints team. All right, the Saints team isn't the worst team in the league, and the Saints team is very feisty. As you can see, Rattler even has more passing yards than Caleb Williams, and this is a revenge game here. Remember, when to go back to college, Caleb and Spencer Rattler were both the quarterbacks on Oklahoma. Do not forget about that. And Caleb took the spot of Spencer Rattler. All right. So this is a motivated spot for Spencer in this game here. And I think what we've seen from the Saints is a little bit more impressive. All right. They played that Buffalo team really tough all the way down to that fourth quarter, and then Buffalo pulled away. Very good win against the Giants, creating turnovers. And they kept it close with New England, and then they pulled away at the end. Chicago, like I said, solid wins over Dallas, Las Vegas, and an emotional win. It looks like their offense is waking up a little bit here, but this Saints defense isn't awful. It's solid. It's solid against the pass. It's solid against the run. And I can't say the same here for the Chicago Bears. The Bears are the team that have the weakest part of their defense is rushing yards allowed. And if we're allowing Alvin Kamara and their second-year running back here, third-year running back really, Kendre Miller from TCU, he's super explosive. Both of those guys, Kamara and Kendre Miller, are top 10 in the league in breaking tackles and the breaking tackle rate. So that's going to be the bread and butter for the Saints, and I think this game is closer than what you think. So give me the plus 4.5 on the Saints. Love this spot here, catching the Bears back at home on a short week. I love that. That's the top play, Saints plus 4.5. Secondary play will be under 45.5. I think there's going to be a lot of running and some defense here, and that under is going to hit. In Huntington Bank Field here, we have the Cleveland Browns 1-5 going against the Miami Dolphins 1-5. Looking at the current odds for this one, Browns home favorites minus 140 with the comeback of the Dolphins at a plus 118. Point spread at 2.5. Total is at 36. All right, this total is flying down because of weather. They're talking about 20 to 30 to even 40 mile per hour winds. I've heard higher projections as well over in Cleveland for this Sunday game. It should be horrible conditions for kicking the football, for passing the football. When we're talking about over 20 miles per hour plus in that 30 to 40 range, that will affect the football. Obviously, deep balls as well. There's going to be a lot of dink and dunk. We've seen this last year. I think it was a Monday Night Football game with bad weather, and it was god awful. And I think it was Tyler Huntley as a quarterback as well. So over under is 36. Looking at the public bet percentage here, you're gonna see it. I thought it was gonna be more towards the under, but still, looking at the money line, 50% of the bets here coming in on Cleveland, 68% of the money coming in on Miami as the underdog. For the point spread, 72% of the bets, 76% of the money on Miami to cover the plus 2.5. For the total points, 54% of the bets coming in on the over. That's the public. 62% of the money is coming in on the under, and that's the sharps. All right, the sharps brought this number down a lot. It was at like at 40. It was at 41.5, and it's dropped like 5 points already. That's because big money is coming in on the under, and this it should be really ugly in this spot here between Miami and Cleveland. All right, now injury report here. Elijah Campbell, DB, he's going to be out. Everyone else looks fine for Miami. For Cleveland Browns, we got a Q tag on Jack Conklin with 2 DNPs. Well, he has a concussion. We have David Njoku, that he's going to be out. That's a big loss. Hal Fannin Jr. is going to step up as the number 1 tight end now, and he could have a solid day here going up against this Miami Dolphins team that is one of the league worst against opposing tight ends as well. Mason Graham, their rookie D tackle, he didn't practice on Friday, so we'll see if he's going to be able to give it a go as well. All right, so major issues here on the Cleveland side of the ball. In this particular game here, you have Brown's strength is defense. Dolphins' strength is not defense, especially rushing yards allowed, and this could be a good game for Quinshon Judkins. The Dolphins are the absolute worst in the league against opposing running backs, so that could be an avenue for them. And the defense is going to have to step up. Maybe they catches some breaks here with the conditions, and obviously the decision making of Dylan Gabriel. That's going to be a big proponent here as well. All right, so top play in this game, I like the plus 2.5 on Miami. I think the advantage on the side of Miami here, despite the fact of their defensive struggles. This weather is going to help that defense in this game, so they can make Cleveland one-dimensional and make both sides one-dimensional here. So I think the best running back on the field is Devon Achane. What he can do running and receiving wise, there's going to be a lot of dump-off passes, a lot of screens, a lot of short stuff, and I think the creativity of Mike McDaniel is going to have to be at its peak here against Cleveland to get away with this cover and or win. All right, so top play, Dolphins plus 2.5. Secondary play will be under 36 on the total still. In Nissan Stadium here, we have the Tennessee Titans 1-5 going up against the 4-2 New England Patriots. Odds for this one here, Patriots minus 325 on the money line with the comeback of the Tennessee Titans at a plus 260. Point spread at 7, and then total points at 42.5 on the total. If we're looking at the public bet percentage here, we have 96% of the bets, 95% of the money on New England. For the point spread, 75% of the bets, 78% of the money on New England to cover that number. And for the total, we have 56% of the bets, 57.2% of the money towards the under 42.5 on the total. Looking at the injury report here for the Patriots, questionable tag, highly questionable Charles Woods, the cornerback. And everyone should be fine here. Harold Landry is trending towards playing because he had that full practice on Friday. That's a positive note for the Tennessee Titans. We got a couple outs here. Blake Hance is out, their lineman. We have 2 DNPs on Draymond Jones. He's highly questionable to play. Arden Key, their linebacker, is out. Bryce Oliver, wide receiver, out. Calvin Ridley, wide receiver, out. And then Trevondre Sweat is questionable. He should be able to play. So we're missing some key components linebacker-wise against here for the Titans and wide receiver. So Elik Ayamenor is now the number 1 wide receiver here for the New England Patriots. They're going to have to, for the Tennessee Titans, they're going to have to use the tight ends in this spot here for the Tennessee Titans. Gunnar Helm and Nkonkwo will be the guys that will have to step up here for the Titans, with the weak point of that wide receiver core being decimated. All right, now New England Patriots, this is a motivated spot for Mike Vrabel coming back to his old team here, where he had some success, but obviously it faltered, and that's why he left and got a better opportunity with the New England Patriots. I think this is an easy spot for me to take the Patriots on the money line. Main play, Patriots minus 7 and the under 42.5 in the total. I don't see the Titans really scoring much points-wise as well, and I like the Patriots in this spot here to dominate against this poor team who just lost their head coach. Yes, this team should rally, but they really lost a lot of help for Cam Ward, and he's out there stranded by himself, and this is not a good look right now. So Patriots minus 7 main play, secondary play under 42. Right, in Arrowhead Stadium here, we have the Kansas City Chiefs 3-3 going against the Las Vegas Raiders 2-4. Looking at the odds for this matchup right here, we have Chiefs minus 750 with the comeback of the Raiders at a plus 525. Point spread at 12. Total points at 45.5 as well. Looking at the public bet percentage here, we have 94% of the bets, 79% of the money all over Kansas City. For the point spread, 50% of the bets, 52% of the money on the side of Las Vegas. For the total, 54% of the bets, 55% of the money towards the over 45.5 in the total. Looking at the injury report here, Josh Simmons out yet again. He was out last week. They gave their rookie tackle a start here. Not rookie. They signed him in free agency. Let me go to forgetting his name. He started last week, did phenomenal. Was it Morris Wanye? Yeah, it's Morris Wanye. Wanye Morris, excuse me. So he played very well last week, and they paid him a lot of money. And obviously this is his time to show up, and he did in place of Josh Simmons. So Josh Simmons is going to be out yet again. They feel comfortable with Morris Wanye at that tackle spot, and he should be fine here. I have no issues with him with Josh Simmons being out. Everyone else is fine. And you got the big news of Rashee Rice being back here in the wide receiver core for the Chiefs. The wide receivers for the Chiefs are finally healthy. This is now a very, very, very dangerous team now. I'm telling you right now, you got Patrick Mahomes playing like his old self, and he's leading the team in rushing. He's throwing for 3-4 touchdowns a game. He's running at will. This is a very dangerous team here in the Kansas City Chiefs now. Las Vegas Raiders, Brock Bowers, doubtful. That's going to be a big loss. Michael Mayer is going to have to step up as their tight end. He can do so. The Chiefs do give up the fifth most fantasy points to tight ends. Now, Jacoby Myers is questionable, and then Alex Backham is going to be questionable as well, but they look like they're going to play in this game. Division matchup, obviously, and the Raiders have played the Chiefs tough in the last 3 games. All right, in the last 3. If you go before that, if you go last 5, you got a blowout by Kansas City in Kansas City, and then you have the Raiders beating Kansas City. Those 2 blowouts were in Las Vegas. Excuse me. The win from the Raiders is in Kansas City, and then we had a close game, only a 7-point loss against Kansas City last year, and only a 2-point loss. So they kept it close against the Chiefs last season. Will we get a different result in this one? All right, that's really the big question here. 12 is a really big number. I think that this offense is going to be a well-oiled machine. I do like the over. All right, so my top play in this one is going to be over 45.5. I'm mulling over the cover on either end because this is a division matchup, but this is a different division matchup here with the Chiefs at home, and I like the addition of Rashee Rice here that can get things going, but this also is his first game back. All right, so I'm going to be sticking with the over 45.5 as the main play. Secondary play will be a slight lean for the Chiefs to cover the 12. All right, but main play over 45.5. Last but not least, here in US Bank Stadium, here we have the Minnesota Vikings 3-2 going against the Philadelphia Eagles 4-2. Looking at the odds in this one, -130 Eagles on the road favorites for the Eagles. Minnesota Vikings at a +110. Point spread at a 2. Total points at 44 in the total. Looking at the public bet percentage here, we have 84% of the bets, 92% of the money coming in on Philly for the point spread, 60% of the bets, 55% of the money on Philly to cover that too. And then for the total points, 64% of the bets, 72% of the money here on the over 44.5. All right, now Eagles here, Vikings here, injury report before we break everything down. Big injury, Andrew Van Ginkel, outside linebacker, he's going to be out. Everyone else should be fine, getting full practices and limited on Friday. I don't see anyone with a DNP. We're just really missing Andrew Van Ginkel for the Eagles. Grant Calcaterra, he's going to be out. That's the backup tight end. And everyone else is fine here. Jordan Davis is back in the fold. When you have him, you have obviously you're going to dominate. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter are going to be fine. You're going to dominate the trenches here when you got both of those guys in. All right. Now, we had 2 ugly losses here from the Eagles against Denver, and then it was a short week, so that's that you understand why that happened. All right, they had a Sunday game, and then 4 days later you got to go up against your division rival on the road, and they came up short in that one as well. So back-to-back losses there. They've experienced that. They haven't had that in a couple years, and now this should be a spot for Minnesota to bounce. For the Eagles to bounce back. The Vikings had an easy win against Cleveland, cruised in that game, and now you get a Carson Wentz revenge game. All right, this is what the public is going to hop all over, is the revenge game for Carson Wentz going up against his old team in the Eagles. All right, now in this spot here, I think that the Eagles in this offense will awaken, especially running the football here, and that's going to open up things in the passing game with A.J. Brown and with their number 2 wide receiver, who's been complaining a lot that they're not getting the football here. But it's all going to start with rushing the football against this Minnesota defense that is 24th in the league, and that definitely will simmer down all the blitzes that you're going to see from Brian Flores and his defense. All right, but I think I have full confidence in Jalen Hurts here to bounce back in this spot, and I think that the right team is favored in this game here. So they did right in this one to me. So we're going to be going with the Eagles -2. I'll take them, the Eagles here, to cover the 2 points. And for the total, I like the over 44. I think that the Eagles can put up a nice number here and force the Vikings here to play catch up, and this total goes over. All right, so that's going to be our breakdown for the Week 7 early slate. Let me know in that comment section down below if you agree or disagree. We could definitely debate about that. Let me know in that comment section down below. And also, don't forget about that Patreon. You don't want to miss out on these plays. Click on that link provided down below. You're going to get full access to daily bets, future bets, and access to that group chat that goes up 24/7. This is your boy Chef D, and peace out.